Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Can't Afford Therapist podcast. Today, my guest is Kianna Znika, also known as the Lizzerd Queen. What's going on?
What's up? I'm excited to be here. It's so cool being like referred to as the Lizzerd Queen and hearing that.
that's what you go by. How did that's for one of the first questions I want to ask you is how do you even where'd that name come from?
You know, it's fun. I like knew that question was gonna come. That's like everyone's question. So it was a friend in high school and she meant it as a compliment. She really, really did. I forgot what we were talking about, but she said that like I look like a lizard, like I remind her of a lizard. And I feel like we just bonded right then and there because I was like, dude, that's exactly what I'm going for. And she's like, no, I mean it like in the best way. I'm like, dude, yeah, like I love that. Like I kind of want to look like I feel prettiest when I kind of look a little bit, I don't know how to explain it. But the nickname just kind of stuck. Like she gave me the nickname Lizzerd Queen. That was my name on all my socials. All my friends started calling me that. And I've always loved aliens. I've always like drawn aliens. I have like geckos. Like I love lizards.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like I just like love reptiles. Like I even have like my friend made me a fake driver's license because I was one of the last people in our group to get a driver's license. And
Me
it literally and it's literally like she drew me as an alien. So it just stuck. Like I didn't realize then that I could blend that little alien logo with my Lizzerd Queen nickname and it makes sense. But yeah, it just stuck. And like I feel like that nickname gave me a lot of confidence actually. Like I've tweeted about this before, like years ago, like something about Lizzerd Queen. It's not even like an alter ego thing, but it just gives me a lot of confidence.
Well,
I
because
really
it's
like
a
it.
dope nickname, right?
Thank
Like
you.
even like that's the story behind it. You like, oh, I just made it up. No, like there's a full on legit story behind it. You like it, right? I don't know. Do you like
Yeah.
what? Do you watch any anime at all?
I used to really, really like Tokyo Ghoul. That was my favorite of all
I'm
time.
I'm looking right directly into my camera. I'm gonna get real nerdy. I'm
Why?
sorry. So in My Hero Academia, right?
Mm-hmm.
The main character was given like a nickname by his bully, and he
Yeah.
turns that nickname around, and like that becomes his hero name, and blah 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 blah. You know, like it's just like a cool, like empowering story. But for you, it was just like I fuck with
Yeah.
this name. Like I can like merge it into something else. Um, I'm happy you brought up aliens because I while back I had shout out Zell from the Alien Theorizing podcast because I had him on and we spoke about a whole bunch of alien things. And I
Mm-hmm.
like when people are interested in this topic because I always ask them the one question that I asked him. You're driving down the road, right? It could be you, it could be a group of people. You're just there. You see this light in the forest. What do you do?
Drive away, dude.
They,
I
yeah,
mean, like
yeah.
I love aliens. I do, but like I'm not gonna lie and pretend like if an alien was standing in my room, I'm not gonna be like, hey, what's up? I'm this. I'd be scared. I would what? Like
Yeah,
I would
no.
be scared. That would be like my first impulse.
That's what I said too. He agreed. So we're all in agreement, right? 3 for 3 so far
Yeah,
with this. But
like we're
this,
human. Like it would be a scary experience.
well, one of the stories he told was like, nah, the guy pulled over, right, with his friends, got out the car and walked over to it. I'm like, yo, I'm like, I grew up in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Main rule, that's none of my business. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm bringing that to the glowing orb in the woods.
Yeah, no, seriously. I do not ponder orbs in woods. I feel like I just have way too much anxiety for that too. But my whole thing, like with the aliens and stuff too, and that's why I want to make like children's books and stuff. Cause like let's say like I have like this idea, like let's say with my little alien character, that it's not the alien's fault for looking scary. Like it can be genuinely so sweet and means well, but it's not its fault that it looks scary. So that's why like I actually it's one of my dreams to like publish like a children's book, but like the monsters in it look fucking scary, like kind of like the scary stories to tell in the dark, like
Okay.
insane, like nightmare fuel, but
I
they're
really like that
actually
idea.
really thank you, but they're actually like really nice. They want to help you, they mean well. Like one of the ideas I have is like this like creepy thing, and it has like 7 like tentacles and stuff, and the kid's shaking because it's scared, and the monster's just saying like, oh my gosh, are you cold? I would give you my sweater, but it has 4 too many sleeves, like something like that.
So like the kind of vibe that I've just like when you describe that is like like the first 4 or 5 pages of like where the wild things are before they come all like these cute
Yeah.
cuddly creatures. But I like the idea because even in reality, like not everything is going to be cute and cuddly. Not every person looks the same. Not every animal is going to be what they look like. Like apes, for example. A lot of monkeys, they look mad cute. They'll rip your face off.
No, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's like that whole thing. I really do like that idea, and it's good to teach like children at a young age. Really, that kind of idea is like no matter what you look like, anyone can be a good person or
Yeah.
alien.
Yeah, that's why I like it a lot. I don't know. It's always like something that's kind of stuck with me. And I think like even growing up, I've always liked like really cute and creepy things. Like I used to really like Emily the Strange. And then like I grew up with Tim Burton and stuff too. So stuff like that like really like stayed into my mind. So I think that's something that I would like to transfer over into my music. I just don't know how.
So was this? We'll get to that. What was the children's book writing and like the music kind of? Did that like, come up together, or was that like no, not two separate ideas?
No,
How
yeah,
so?
it wasn't until like last year at some point where I finally started realizing like, oh my God, like it was almost like this like epiphany, like everything that I've been doing, I can do it all together. It's almost like Lizzerd Queen is like a brand of some sort. I don't want to say that I'm like branding myself, but like I'm
I
realizing
mean,
that
that's what
like
it is nowadays.
I just
I'm Austin
realizing that
Canafort
it's
everywhere. Trust me, I've sold my soul.
Are you serious? No, like I'm just really thinking like this character that I've grown up with. And before the alien, the Lizzerd Queen, like her name was Kiwi, and that used to be my nickname. Like
Mhm.
I would draw her everywhere. I had stories already for her and stuff. I had already imagined that she would be a musician, like she's an alien, like and she needs some way to communicate with the human beings. So like she starts making music. Um it wasn't until last year that I started realizing like, oh my God, like people are noticing me for my music, or oh my God, people are even just noticing me for being me. Like I can start like sharing some of my ideas. I can actually start doing some of this stuff.
I
Yeah.
100% completely relate because um I kind of felt like the same way, and I always figured myself to be funny, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know what the hell to do. So I eventually just took like the jump one day. It took a lot of traumatic baggage to really push me over the
Oh
edge.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
1000%. I feel you.
but it's what forced me to finally get on like stage to do comedy. And like once I finally realized, I'm like, oh, I could just make people laugh about all the things that make me feel like shit or make me feel sad. And like that's how I cope. I have a
Mm-hmm.
very dark sense of humor. I'm this is not like a story I've told publicly, but at a friend of mine's funeral, right? We did a celebration of life. There was a cardboard cutout of him. I was the first person to line up to take a picture with the cardboard cutout. Like this is just it's what makes me laugh. It was a very dark thing. And then as soon as I did it, other people started doing it. It was pretty cool. But like
Yeah.
but that's just how I cope. And once I brought that like energy to the stage and like other people kind of validated that feeling, I completely get like you're getting seen for more than just like this character that you created, like the real hardcore shit. And that's why I kind of
Yeah.
really like your music. Is like when I first found it, it was I think it was the voice memo, right? And like you said
Mm-hmm.
straight up recorded off the iPhone with the voice memo, and I was like, this is like raw and emotional, and I'm like, that's the kind of music that I really like, and I'm like, oh yes, this is what I
Oh
needed
my
right now.
God.
Okay, like I said,
Thank
we're gonna
you.
keep it casual, okay? So like,
Okay,
congrats.
no, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Okay, I'll let you talk. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Um, nah, it's good. I'm gonna get sappy.
It's fine. We can get sappy. Like
It's
we don't have to get
so
too sappy, but
okay,
but
valid.
like I said, it's good to feel validation in, especially something that you put your like pour your heart and soul into. Like comedy and music, very different things. I love music. I've got a guitar tattooed on my arm. I've got
Hey,
the Sublime tattoo. I got music is part of my life. I've just been never confident in my writing ability. So I'm like that rawness and emotion I can't really get through comedy because I am making a lot of jokes about like my
but that's
penis,
like
you
you're
know.
high key. That's why like you're saying like music and comedy, like, oh, they're not the same thing. But like to me, I think like I've always said that like artists supporting other artists is like honestly the coolest thing that you can do, because even if you don't consume that type of like specific art, like you're still supporting another human being's way of like creating and expressing themselves in the way that like with you, that you show your full self, like at your core. Like if you were an orb, like one of those like things from the Pixar movie Inside Out, your humor, you are funny, like that's you. And that's you being your full self.
Yeah, and it's something that I've had to develop though, and it's what I'm interested in. Like, as comedians always say, like, yeah, it takes years and years to develop that, but it's something that it's like innately in us. Like, I was always considered like performer as in grade school. Like, did you have that like innate like creative thought, I guess, for music? Or
yeah, so my whole thing with, I've always loved music, like as a kid. I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, I what Guitar Hero, we're gonna get to that. Guitar Hero made such
I'm excited
a
to talk to
great
that.
impact on me. But before that, I was listening to like rock every now and then because my mom was very into like 80s glam rock and stuff. But I was honestly like looking up to like Britney Spears and Taylor Swift, and yeah, no, I love them. I love them, and like I just saw like they were on the stage and they looked beautiful and they had this presence, and I wanted to be that person. Like I wanted to put on a show, like I would like fantasize about it. I won my very first guitar at Las Vegas, like at Circus Circus.
Hell yeah.
Literally, when I was a kid, I won that very first guitar. And then because of Guitar Hero, my dad got me a guitar. But the thing with my music journey is that like it felt like it was going like this, but then I joined band, and that's actually when it like all fell apart.
Really?
Yeah.
Like high school band or
middle school and high school band. Like it was just like my experience was like, I think the stereotype is like the other people bully the band kids, and for me, I was getting bullied by the band kids. I was in band getting bullied by the band kids.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, there was a few, like, I have a few good friends that I still talk to and stuff, but it was just really bad. And it escalated in high school because of a toxic relationship. And like that person had told me that they didn't like my writing, that they didn't like my voice. And I value that person's opinion so much that I believe them. They actually like, they got me to stop listening to like pop punk and alternative music because they told me that it was like cringy that I was still listening to it. And I had believed them at the time because I wasn't surrounded by, I knew that there was other people listening. Like I saw the haircuts, but I wasn't talking to them because I was always with this one person. And so I believed him, and I started feeling like, oh, maybe that's why I feel this, like, oh my God, am I weird because I'm this? So like, I just I stopped listening to music. I quit band, and I just kind of gave up on it. It wasn't until like the end of 2020 where I did so much healing, and I finally got a guitar just because I wanted to play along some of my favorite songs. And then one day I wrote a song, and that's when it felt like a rush. And I was like, holy shit, I love music. I love music. This is what I'm meant to, what the hell, man? Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It felt like it's the most, I don't know if you felt that maybe with like stand-up comedy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like
the first time I ever performed on stage, I got off. I took a class because I didn't know how to start doing comedy. And I looked at the teacher and I was like, that was like drugs. And he was like, yeah, isn't it great?
like it was weird. It's like this big spiritual experience. Like I remember, and not to get like, I hope no one thinks anything of me, but like I literally looked in the mirror and I like imagined that I was like talking to the universe, and I was like, wait, do I actually get to be a musician in this life? Like that's actually in the cards for me. And it's almost like they were saying like, yes, like
why
we've been
not
waiting for you. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, like it just felt like a big dream come true. Like, because in my mind, I just like always think like, oh yeah, I want to be a musician, but everyone wants to be a musician, so I'll go ahead and do these other jobs. Like that's just a dream. But it's so like, I just can't believe I'm finally doing it. It means so much to me.
Yeah. We've got very similar kind of I guess, stories in that kind of way, because I told the story a bunch of times. Within the last 6 months, it went from the story changed from I hate my job to I quit my job and now I'm doing something I fucking love. And it's been a crazy change. Like my mental health has changed. Everything has changed because I've switched over to doing like online radio, podcasting, working in comedy more. And I'm not making nearly as much money. But
Yeah.
you know what? Like, listen, if I have to do that for a year or two, this amount of happiness and like mental stability and just self-satisfaction, if I could keep that rolling, that is worth more than anything I can make in a year. 100%.
Yes. No, I feel you. It's fulfilling. Like you like, and I feel like you hear that word all the time, like fulfilling your purpose. And I don't know, like, doesn't it feel like that? Like you're like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm supposed to be this type of person.
You're in the right, yeah. You just feels like the right lane for like, and especially like I've been without getting way too deep into it. I had a friend get real sick after college. I switched everything. I was living in DC prior, came back to New York, and became a janitor. Started scrubbing toilets, started like not doing anything I wanted to do because I felt that this was right. But that kind of trauma and that experience kind of gave me, like I said, the baggage to push me over the edge. And it's just, I don't know, it's like a weird thing to like have something so emotional be the guiding factor to something so like your happiness.
Yeah.
It's a weird experience. It's a weird thing to say out loud. And like even you just saying it too, like the way you're smiling, the way like when I said like your music hit me in like an emotional sense, like you're like, oh, someone gets it.
I don't know, like it's because like I know, like with my music, like I held on to my music for so long because I thought like, no, I have to improve my voice first. No, I have to like make sure it sounds like, no, I have to learn production first. But then I started realizing like, I'm just gonna release stuff because honestly, this is my voice. Like it sounds like me. So like people are gonna know it's me. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Just like this is my authentic voice. Like if you don't like it, cool. Like it's almost like I have written on a vision board actually, like if my music sounds kind of sad and shitty, that's kind of the point. Like it's just, I have this thing where like anyone can paint, right? Like you wouldn't, like if someone painted something and it doesn't look blah blah blah, like you wouldn't say like you're not a real artist. Like you're always like about express yourself, paint anything. Like there's paintings in museums where it's a blank white canvas and it's a black dot in the center. So why can't that be applied to like music? Why does everything have to be perfect? Why like music theory and stuff, which I'm still going to learn music theory, but I'm just thinking like this is me expressing myself. Like I don't know.
I'm going to talk wild shit on music theory. I took so I was a music minor in college, and I was like, yeah, I'll take music theory. I'll go right into it. I'm like, they'll teach me how to play the keyboard. Oh, no. It was way too intense for me. I was like, you have to know how to play the keyboard. I was like, yeah, no, that's not, I am not at that level yet. I was all back end engineering and stuff like that. That's what I love because I grew up like, not unfortunately, yes and no, in a sense. All my friends are sports kids. And like I was the only like musician, and the other kind of like musician kids I met through high school were just like so far more advanced than I was. It was hard to keep up when we did play in bands. So like it was kind of discouraging at that point too. And like I understand what you mean by like middle school and high school bands are just it for people too, like when they're first starting at middle school. I joined the band my junior year of high school. I had a lot of pull at that point because I was, I knew most of the teachers. I knew a lot of the arts teachers. I was just like, I was very social. It was very easy for me to pull a little bit of extra strings. When I did not in middle school, however, when I was playing saxophone and hating it, junior year I played the bass in the band. Yeah, exactly. It didn't suck the life out of me like the saxophone did when I was younger, and I didn't even know how to put that to words. And like that's why I kind of get like what were you forced to play like the clarinet or something?
No, like so my experience is that like I loved band. I was so excited. Like the way you see me talk about my music, that's how I was with band. Like really? I was like, I've been described once as like too excited. Like once I had drum captain.
No such thing.
Right. But I was so excited, and I loved like performing in band, and I played percussion. So I'm actually a drummer. I'm originally a drummer.
Hell yeah.
I was so excited, but like in middle school, there's just like, it's just bullies. And honestly, like, and we're gonna get into it because honestly, we need better counselors in schools that actually care about men. Because like I made a TikTok about this before. I was reaching out for help, and then they were like, "Oh, you need to reach out for help," and it's like, "You are the help."
Yeah, like
what are you talking about?
Your literal title is counselor. Like, who else am I supposed to go to?
Counsel me.
Hence
but
the
yeah,
name of the
no.
show. Can't afford a therapist.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kianna, for being my therapist this week.
Yeah. Oh, I'm studying psych too. I do want to like be a therapist to people as well.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's an honorable profession because you hear some fucked up things.
No, yeah, then that's what I'm taking like a little pause in it now, but I'm really passionate about mental health, and I would want there to be more therapists who actually care about mental health.
Which is not because it
Yeah.
mostly it can go back to like the education too. We might take a hard left in this podcast right now. No pun intended, literally.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the DSM-5, like the basis of mental health analysis is outdated, right? Like Freud, not fraud. Well, yeah, slip of the tongue, right? Yeah. He can even be a little bit more like pushed to the side nowadays. A lot of it's changing. We know a lot more people like have deal with a lot more different things now. And not even now. It's just like we understand it better, you know?
Yeah, and one of the like big things right now in the world of psychology is that like there actually isn't a lot of like trauma informity. Like there's not a lot of trauma informed therapists. Like the field of psychology, they still don't exactly know how to define or treat trauma. And so like sometimes they'll like just diagnose you like, okay, you have this, and then they'll give you the pills for that, but that's actually putting a bandage over the wound, not really treating it, because what's actually happening is like you had trauma that you need to heal and work through, but they're not seeing that. They just see like, well, you're showing symptoms of this, so I'm going to give you this. So that was like what like really wanted to push me into doing that like a lot of psychologists just kind of reject trauma, which is weird.
Yeah. One of the better ones that I've had was a younger woman, so maybe that's why it was like a bit of a better experience. But she was like you said, like not a big drug person. She was like, yo, you gotta talk this shit out, and then when you leave, have a creative expression. It's just like, because that's what I relate to, instead of like you know, I'm a bit lazy. I'm the one to run to the gym when something like when something gets wrong. Like I'll make people laugh. I get online, make people laugh. Like that's what I'm drawn to. So she's like, if that's what you want, if that's what you're drawn to, if that's what makes you happy, that's what you need to pursue in any aspect.
She sounds great.
She was awesome.
I love my therapist right now. It took me a while. This is like my third or fourth therapist, and I love her now. So like, I think that can't afford a therapist, but like, let's be grateful for the good therapist.
The good one.
I am so grateful. Like I was thinking about getting her a Christmas gift. Like I didn't know if that was inappropriate because I'm just so grateful.
I don't know if that would be inappropriate. I tried to go and make mine laugh. That was my problem. I was like, let's see what I can get cracked today.
Every time you tell a joke, she's just like, okay.
And then was like, fuck, that's the Notebook. That's not a good sign. All right, enough of the heavy stuff. Guitar Hero. Okay. Sorry, let me hold on. So you're not alone.
Oh, thank you.
Guitar Hero influenced you to pick up music? Did it influence your music taste? I said you've had a little bit of rock.
1000%. Guitar freaking Hero. Like, and that's why I said like alternative music, like pop punk and stuff, the stuff that I like when I was a kid, I was not on the computer on YouTube typing pop punk or like best alternative. There was no way. Like the only way I was like exposed to cool music was like either you get lucky through like different movies or like stuff like that. My parents listened to kind of cool music. Like my dad was more of the 80s new wave. My mom's like the 80s glam rock and classic rock, and like she loved the Ramones, so the Ramones had a huge influence on me. But Guitar Hero, specifically Fat Lip by Sum 41.
Okay, respect.
Yes, thank you. When I realized like I wanted to keep on playing that one, and I like the character Johnny Napalm. I still
You
remember
the
it.
name.
Yes, I remember
Okay,
all the names of the. I love
I used to
Judy
play as
Mills.
Axel.
Like Axel, is that the one? He has long hair.
I think he had the big hair. I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay, because I remember Guitar Hero 1 the most. I didn't really play a lot of the other ones, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, the guy with the long hair and the denim jacket. I was like, yep, that's my guy.
Yeah, he was always usually in like the heavy, like hardcore stuff. Yeah. Respect.
And because I like to ask about musical influence through video games, because when I was at the radio station in college, I had a 2-hour block, and 1 hour would be like essentially you're listening to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater soundtrack.
Oh, love it.
It would just be ska music and like all this other shit, and I would get shit on constantly. They're like, nobody likes ska, nobody likes ska. I was like, yo, everybody loves ska, right? And then I started to turn it up. I'm like, if they don't like ska, I go, what are they gonna say about Nickelback? I started playing a little bit of Nickelback. Don't get me, I love me some Nickelback. Okay. We went camping as a whole group. It was like 40 of us. I was hammered. I look at everybody right now. I put Nickelback on. Everyone's like looking at me. I just started singing. I was like, you're telling me right now, if I'm not singing along to this song, you won't be singing. I'm like, this is how you remind me. And then people started singing. I was like, exactly. Yo, Nickelback comes on.
Okay.
They don't get the respect they deserve. Exactly.
That's a good song.
They've
Okay.
got nothing but bops.
Dude, you know who has nothing but bops? And like, I don't know, I feel like they don't get as talked about enough. And like, I need to listen to their discography again. Simple Plan.
Hell yeah. Even their older stuff when they came back after the hiatus. Oof.
Oh my God. Like, I was just having like an emo throwback like playlist thing with one of my friends. And she made the playlist and she was like, oh, I want to show it to you because you're one of my only friends I can show. And I was like, okay, let's hear it. And she had a lot of Simple Plan. And I was like, dude, what the heck? Like, I forgot like how much I love Simple Plan.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Jet Lag with Natasha Bedingfield. Like after that like little break that they had from like 2008 to 2011, they came back with like just monstrous hits. I'm like, what the hell? And it's good to see that kind of progression. So I've had two other musicians on, three sort of. My friend's like a poet rapper kind of thing. He's not really like
cool.
an out there musician. He does it more for fun. But three legit performing artists, including yourself, Bart from Mom Jeans, and Just Nick, there's a folk artist. Yeah, he was just on. I just released that episode. It was awesome. He was the first.
Way.
He was the first one. Yeah, he's your opening act, by the way. He was the first one to play on the show.
Yeah, I respect. Yeah, he should be the first one.
They were great. They did awesome work, and like we had a great conversation. But I forgot where I was even going with this. But like, fuck.
Like progression. You said
yeah, musical progression. Thank you so much. Musical progression. It was the way even Nick said it. They went from angsty teenager to this now writing music through art and Shakespeare and finger picking a nylon guitar. And I'm like, holy shit. I relate to that through just listening to music. Right. Mm-hmm. And my music went from like pop punk will forever hold a place in my heart. Right. Emo music. My knees buckled a bit when I saw that when we were young festival. I was like, oh shit, I can't go, but I would love to. Like that whole thing. And I'm like, but that was 15, 16, 26 now. And like my political perspectives have grown. A lot of it has been influenced, like that has influenced my music taste as well. So now I'm a lot more folk punk, a little bit more aggressive, grittier, less, I guess, since they're mostly leftist bands I listen to, they've gotten rid of the electric guitars. They're like, we're just acoustic. We don't even need electricity.
Yeah.
But like, have you seen that in yourself? Have you what kind of progression have you seen in yourself?
I think, but like, even like in my pop punk phase, I've always like leaned a little bit more towards like the acoustic, like the more folk punky stuff too. Like when I was in middle school, I was listening to like Secondhand Serenade because I really liked the acoustic guitar and that. So like a lot of the stuff that was like, oh, this is depressing, I loved Green Day. And then like I started getting really into Silverstein, like, and I noticed that like, oh my god, like the acoustic, like punk goes acoustic, like those things, like
Life-changing albums.
yeah. And then in high school I was listening to like Violent Femmes a lot, and I didn't even like in my like at the time I wasn't like transferring that that's like folk punky, like
yeah, like one of the biggest folk punk bands ever.
Yeah, I just, but you know, I'm like 16-year old. I don't know anything about these genres. So like I was just listening to it because like I liked the vibe. So I feel like I've always like kind of like leaned more, but like pop punk, like the poppy stuff still has a place in my heart. Like even like the hyper pop stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I'm a dream pop fanatic.
Yeah, all right.
I used to talk wild shit about 100 Gex, and now literally like 3 days after I publicly talked shit about 100 Gex, I was like, these people are geniuses.
Yeah, like y'all hearing this right now?
I'm like, it's layers upon layers of amazing.
But with my music, yeah, I would want to be a little bit more on the folk punky side, because I think like that also matches my energy levels a little bit more.
It definitely will match the aesthetic, because I when I first saw you, I was like, this, I'm gonna get some great folk punk, and then I'm like, oh no, there's some like dreaminess to it. I like it.
Thank you.
And it was no, you don't even have to say thank. I should say thank you for putting out good music, right? And when should we be expecting more? Do you even know?
Yeah, I'm like high key, like my brand is just being like impulsive and releasing a lot of music. So I just put out my SoundCloud journal entries for pre-save. So these are all like, I don't know anything about music production, so I was teaching myself how to use GarageBand, and I didn't have songs to work with at the time. I didn't want to use the songs I've written, so I was reading my journal entries, and I don't know, I kind of like the way they sound. Like, have you ever heard the band Teen Suicide?
Probably. I'm the worst with names.
Okay, or like American Pleasure Club.
No, I'm gonna add them both right now, though.
They're very, very, very lo-fi. Like you can't even understand what they're saying. It's just fuzzy. It's just a mess. I love it. And it sounds depressing. And
that might not necessarily be a bad thing, though.
No, yeah, that I want that actually. Like, because my thing with Teen Suicide too, like I feel like really comforted and feel really happy when I get to listen to lo-fi music like that. So I'm releasing that. I have a song that's so freaking good, I'm not gonna lie. And like I want to release it already. And I've been holding on to it for a while because like this is one of those things where I'm like, I think every artist has like the one thing. I think this is like my one. So like when I first heard it, like all put together with the producer, I was like, no way. Like this song, I'm so excited about. This should have been my debut. I don't want to fumble the bag. Like I feel like I need to.
Can't have that mindset. You just got to keep trucking.
You're right. And I was going to, but then when I was on DistroKid about to release it, it asked for the album art, and I was like, I don't have anything. Yeah, I was about to put like a selfie, but I was like, nah, that's impulsive.
That's too lo-fi.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, so like I just need to take like a really good I need to take a really good picture. I'm thinking of ordering a marching band jacket for that one. Yeah, that one I can't wait for that one to get released. It's called Favor Returned.
And this is just a single. I know you're working on an album too.
Yeah, so this one's a single, and then it is going to be on the album. Mm-hmm.
But
and then with the album, what was that? Sorry.
This song is the one though, like.
Yeah,
to put the album out there. I'm glad I got you here now before the song even came out.
Thank you, but that's why like I'm like thinking, because I'm like, I don't know, and I know I have to trust my intuition and like just keep doing me, because like one, it feels the best. Two, I'd never want to stop doing me, and then I don't want this to ever feel like work, but I also want to keep myself in check and make sure like I'm like at least like investing some type of energy in here. I don't want to be too like casual about it, because I am really passionate about this, and like I'm seeing this as like a project, and I want to actually do a really, really good job. Like I want to reach my full potential. So that's why I'm trying to like, I don't know, like marketing is so weird right now. I feel really awkward when I market my songs, but I know I have to like let people know I made a song. Like I can't just like, but yeah, I really, really want to do this song justice because again, I think this is like the one for Lizzerd Queen.
Okay. I'm excited to hear it. I get what you're saying about marketing, and I am like the biggest ham when it comes to like that kind of stuff. I will walk into a room and be like, "Hey, everybody, what's going on?" Like, I'll take over an entire room. But when it comes to like marketing the stuff that I created, I have this like weird kind of, and the stuff that I create, and like same for you, your music, like it's an extension of you, right? Like my podcast is me talking to just, people that I think that are cool, but like the conversations that we have, you realize that most people are like relatively experiencing kind of the same experiences, just in like, I don't know, replace a couple different things here and there.
Yeah.
The human emotion is pretty simple at a base level. And that's what I've learned through talking to so many different people already. And what it fuels is always just so great. Sometimes it can be pretty bad.
But that's why, like, as long as like, and I know like some people don't like the word authenticity. I don't know why, but I love it when you can like tell like that is that person. Like that's they're just being authentic. Like I love that. It could be any type of art, any type of expression. Like if I can like if I feel like I'm seeing you and like you are putting yourself out there and you are being yourself, I love that so much.
And that I agree, because that's what draws me into a lot of things. Like stuff doesn't have to be masterly produced. Like I said, your voice memo was just good. All I needed. It was like not perfectly produced, just right off the phone. And it's just because there's like an emotional aspect to it. I told the story in a previous podcast. Hobo Johnson is one of my prime examples of like, yo, this kid can't sing. But like when he opens his mouth, I'm like, I feel it here.
Yeah. Like I just like, okay, well, I like my ears like it. I don't know. Like it feels good.
Exactly. And that's what I think as with the internet and like with video games too, because like Guitar Hero and Tony Hawk and all these other games that are pushing all this different types of music that weren't quote unquote conventionally like mainstream, it like opened so much more. And then with the internet, like with TikTok too, because that's where I've seen you've grown exponentially. That I like from going through your Instagram, like right before we did this, you went from like 100 listeners on Spotify to like almost 1,000 now. That's a huge jump, and like in a very short span of time, which is, I'm sure, probably fucking anxiety inducing, but very humbling at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's like truly hit me. The numbers don't seem real to me yet. I know it like it's gonna hit me at some point because there's been a few times where like things like that will hit me and then I start like tearing up. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the real life. I need to write this in my journal to remind myself this is actually happening. So yeah, I'm super freaking grateful. I don't know who's watching or who's gonna watch, but like genuinely
everybody. That's the attitude
world.
I bring it.
No, genuinely, thank you so much for listening to my music and for having such nice things. Like I don't know. I just thank you.
I wouldn't have reached out if I wasn't a fan.
Dude, that's why I was like, what? This is so cool. I'm literally honored.
And I try, my thing in college was like, I try to like be one or two steps, like when I was on like a DJ, 1 or 2 steps ahead of the game with music. And when I started doing this podcast, my whole goal was to eventually bring on live music. Like I'm set up for it here. Unfortunately, it's behind me. COVID has screwed everything up. But thanks to technology and Zoom, like it makes a lot more things possible. But it was really hard in the beginning to get like musicians, especially when I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. Now I know how to send, like just Nick, like when they said just the way I reached out was what sold them on coming onto the podcast. I was like, all right, maybe I'm doing something right here. Like, and it shows you like that kind of little bit of validation. Again, like me reaching out to you, not to like blow smoke up my own ass, but it's like someone wants to speak to you about like your creations should be something, I don't know, celebrated, and it should be like a humbling experience, but also just fuck it, like let your head get a little big. Why not? Like,
you know what? I was writing about this in my journal. Thank you so much. I really like you. I thank you so much. I'm really happy. Thank you.
That's
that
great.
Means a lot to me.
You're gonna hate me right now though.
Oh.
Because I know we spoke about you playing a little bit. Are you
Okay.
ready for that?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's see. I think I have a song that like I haven't really like promoted a lot, but like I really want to record it. It might be the next song that I record.
Okay. Well, like I said, you'll get a little podcast demo of it.
Okay. So you want me to just like is the sounds good?
Can you give me a little more? It's a little like in and out, but I'm sure it'll pick up. Zoom cuts the music.
Here, my
Like,
mic's
or Zoom cuts mics too.
Let me try doing that.
It's like cutting, but just keep playing because, like I said, Zoom's like has like an automatic feature.
I'll just like so it's good. Okay. I don't really have like a working title for this one yet. So far it just has the placeholder Crazy Ex-Girlfriend song. All right. One of the first 3 songs I've ever written in 2020. So now that the spotlight's over me, sometimes I can't even tell when you're listening. So I got in my car, got a guitar, and I learned how to sing. At least kind of, I don't know. You said you never liked my voice, and that sexuality was a choice. That you'd sit and watch me cry, yet claim you're such a nice guy. So you don't really want me to have a say, and then you tell me to go to therapy. Well, I don't live to make you happy. So you don't really want me to share my thoughts, then I'll sit in my room and do whatever I want, and you won't have to love me, 'cause I'm over the excuses. I'm not the girl inside your head, I'm the girl you tricked into your bed. I know when something's wrong, yet you say nothing's going on. And you left your favorite sweater, but I think that I know better. Yeah, you always want to talk to me, yet you're constantly ghosting. So you don't really think that I have a say. Guess what I learned in therapy? No, I don't live to make you happy. So you don't really want me to share my thoughts, then I'll sit in my room and do whatever I want, and you won't get to love me, 'cause I'm over. 'Cause I'm over you.
Sound great.
Thank you.
I was gonna run, but I couldn't find it. I usually grab a lighter and like.
Oh, cute.
I couldn't find mine. I think it fell into the void of the couch, but you know, whatever. That's later problem. That was awesome song. Enjoyed it very much. Can't wait to hear it like, you know, legit, like right when it's like, you know, actually recorded, not over a podcast.
Yeah, and then you can like hear the guitar more. And then I'm thinking of having like, I don't know if I want like a drums or like if I just want like a cajon, because I think this song would be kind of cool, purely acoustic.
Yeah, and when you list your influences in your Spotify, right? You write that. I'm assuming you write your own. You have to write your own bio. When you list your influences, like I can hear it, but like you can also hear that like you wanting to go into that folk punk realm, like that sort of like that's like that Midwest emo kind of like
I love
bread and
Midwest
butter.
emo. I wanted to put more. I couldn't put like every single influence on there.
Of course.
So like I guess like I just stuck with the ones I'm like, okay, I grew up with Green Day, grew up with Michelle Branch, grew up with Taylor Swift. My voice gets compared to like Blink-182, at least in the beginning of my TikTok, like because I can do the "Where are you?" Like I can do like that voice a lot. So that's why I was like, okay, like narrow it down there. I was getting compared to Never Shout Never, but I feel like I have like a Midwest scene. Like on TikTok, people tell me like mom jeans, modern baseball, which means the absolute world to me. It makes me want to throw up because I'm just cannot believe it. But yeah, that's like ideally what I would want to go for. I want to like make emo music.
If now's the time more than any right now, everyone's feeling it. So like if you're making emotional music, I'm sure people will be flocking to it.
Yeah, 1000%. So I'm excited. I don't know.
So Okay, we're nearing the last 15 minutes of the podcast. This is a question I like to ask everybody that comes on, right? What are you listening to? Like what all right. So you've already named your influences, but like do you have podcasts, you watching TV? Are there movies that influence music? Like what else is there like influencing it? And I know you do like you said vision board and a little bit more spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
The name of the episode is Musical Magic. Is what influence you take from that, if any? Like is that where your most influence comes from?
Mm, I think a lot of my influence also comes from like movies. Like I grew up with like those early 2000s rom-coms that I love, like, and I'm just rewatching them now because I'm like, dude, this soundtrack, like Ice Princess, anything with Michelle Branch in it. I love Michelle Branch. She's an icon. And like, yeah, I like really like early 2000s, like I don't know how else, like girl power movies. I love those soundtracks. Those influence me a lot. I'm a deeply like spiritual person. So like I don't think I would be making music if it weren't for me like constantly following my spirituality, lighting my candles, constantly checking in with myself. And like I'm always being told that like, oh, it's great that you like you're putting yourself out there, you're putting yourself out there. But for me, like it's almost like it's like a spiritual challenge for myself. It's like I do like the spiritual work, and then this is like now time like the test, like put it to the test, like can I show up as myself? So that's been influencing me a lot. I've been listening to Field Medic a lot. I love Field Medic. He's a really big like inspiration for me. And then I've been listening to like hyper pop too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also have a couple candles here that few people like to. So my sister got it for me for Christmas, and she was like, or for my birthday, not Christmas, sorry. And it's we found this like converted school bus in Brooklyn with this.
Uh-huh.
I call her the Puerto Rican witch. I don't know, like I don't
Okay.
know if she's actually a witch, but she's like some Hispanic woman that sells like crystals and candles out of this stuff. So I'm like, we went to the Puerto Rican witch, and my sister's like loved her. Ordered me a candle online called the New Beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
Had like all these different flowers and moon rocks in them. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll light them. Within the next week, I had a job. My sister's like, what's up? I did that.
Yeah. No, seriously. I have my money bowl right now with my I like I've made a song like as a joke, but I deleted it off of TikTok. But like I was like making a song basically like I had an idea that I'm gonna do this music shit with Magick, and now guys, like I'm literally doing it with Magick. Like I am like I'm not gonna like it, I use the Magick's like helping me feel more confident, which is helping me like, and I like saying that like you can't tell me manifestation and magic isn't real because like I'm living it right now.
Exactly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're even if it's like to get even for like I love that kind of stuff. Like I get into it.
Yeah.
I'm like I even had my tarot cards read on the show.
Oh,
Did
I read tarot cards.
Do you really?
Yes, I have an extra, like I have Znika's Cottage. That's my other Instagram account, and I read tarot cards.
Okay, I will put that in the bio. That's awesome. I'm gonna definitely follow that. The one that she only did one, right? She's like, this is how I do it. I don't do the three, I do the one. And as she pulled it, she goes, oh. And I'm like, what's that mean? Oh. And she was like, well, you've got upside down tower. And I was like, what the fuck does that supposed to mean? I'm like, it's just a piece of paper over the internet. I'm like, I don't know. But like when she started explaining it to me, you need like total destruction of everything that's around you before you can start to rebuild.
Yeah.
It literally to a T. That's what happened, which is like I usually like whatever stars, whatever. Like they can't. I like once I got my palm read, did the tarot card reading, and all this other little extra weird shit. I'm like, all right, maybe I don't need to fuck with this anymore because it's getting too specific to me.
It's getting too real. You're like, I'm not ready for this.
But it was like the way she explained it. She was like, I don't see these bad, quote unquote, bad cards as a bad thing. She's like, it's an opportunity for growth.
Yeah, I believe
like,
the same thing.
All right, yeah, and it's literally it's what she was explaining to me. She was like, yeah, everything's gonna come crashing down, and it's what it did because I like jumped ship from my job without really any like concrete plans, and like I said, with the help of the candle, and I was getting upset when people were like, my sister was like, yeah, the candle did it. I was like, no, I've been doing this work for free
Yeah.
for 10 years. I go, that's what got me the job. I'm like, but I did like the candle because it did smell very nice.
Yeah. And well, you like, I always like to say too, like maybe it's the smell that made you feel better and then made you work hard. Like I feel like there always has to be some type of
It's
logic. Like,
something. Yeah.
yeah,
It
that's
puts you
why I
into a
do it.
mood or relaxes you. Or like it maybe just like I don't know, distracts you from that one thing for a second because it does have all these different unique smells and all these like, stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Every time I got more involved with it, things got way too specific, and I did not like it. I'm like, you're telling me things I don't know about myself.
Interesting.
No,
No, that's
not
why I
interesting.
like
Not
it. That's why I
interesting.
like it. Cause it's almost like I'll be like, can you read my mind? Like, is that a thing? Like, and then like I like went through a rabbit hole. There are people who like try to practice telepathy and stuff.
Okay, we're
Pretty
about to
cool.
get real weird. So I used to work, shout out C-SPAN. I used to work at C-SPAN my senior year of college, my last semester, and I worked for Book TV. So my whole job was like read 3 books a week, write a report. Like
Oh, that's pretty cool.
it was cool. Some like I fell in love with nonfiction books. Some books
Uh-huh.
are horribly boring. Other books are great. Um, Phenomena by Annie Jacobson is
Uh-huh.
a whole story about how the United States government
Yes. Yes.
funded mind control, telepathy, remote viewing, and all this other
Yes, to
wild
spy
shit.
on the other like
The
the other
Russians.
countries. Yes.
Yeah. I was
Yes.
like, what the? And it's all unclassified information. I'm like, what the fuck were they doing? Have you ever heard of the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats?
No.
No, it's a George Clooney movie. It's loosely based on this like military and governmental program. Like a lot of
Uh-huh.
MK Ultra, which is influenced Stranger Things. It's a lot of shit. Like it gets influenced by this
Yeah.
quiet, not so secret stuff. But I'm
No,
like,
this stuff is so cool. I like I have so many books on this type of stuff, like literally like the science of magic, like the way that like people actually use it in practical ways, like the way the government gets involved in it. Like it's just really interesting to learn about, honestly.
and music too can carry like a certain magic as well,
It's
right?
literally frequencies.
Yeah. I had a conversation with like a couple comedians recently about DMT, right? And they were like, we're going to Peru to drink ayahuasca. And I was
Oh my
like,
God.
what's like? I'm like, you should listen to the shamans before you go, so you understand like the energy and vibes that they bring. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, yo, that like whole throat singing that they do carries you along through the night. And they're like, I don't understand what you mean. I'm like, no, 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 no. You will when you learn more about this shit. I'm like, but music can carry that kind of vibe and carry that kind of message. And like,
Yeah.
especially when you get to like mind altering and spirit altering chemicals.
Yes.
I don't know
There's
why I brought that up, but like it was just a very interesting thing. Like that it can music can kind of blend both worlds of spiritual and reality.
No, yeah, that's why I've always like I feel like music is one of those things that like affects all of your senses too. Like you can feel music. You literally can feel music. It makes you paint images in your head. You hear it. You have an emotion. Like it literally like it is like a mood controller. Like music can put you in a mood that you weren't in control of that. The music did that to you. I completely believe in this like the power of sound. And the other day I went hiking and I just really liked hearing the waterfall and I was like, oh, I like it, like, oh, I'm comforted by sounds. And I was like, I'm grateful that I get to hear music. Like I'm very grateful for sound. It's very, very powerful. Have you ever read the book Flowers for Algernon?
No, I've heard of it though. I pretty much read exclusively nonfiction because I'm a
No,
nerd.
that's fine. This one was actually cool. It was like a psychological experiment too, but even in that book they were like talking about the idea that like you listen to certain frequencies at night because at night it's easier for your brain to like sponge up that information, and sound frequencies, it literally moves through you, so that's like the
Yeah.
quickest way to like recharge and like
Here's a
yeah.
cool little thing for you and then the audience probably don't know. I learned this in I just go really weird avant-garde um music to film class. So like we were
Uh-huh.
given a blank, just an empty sound film clip, 3 minutes long. And it was some like weird 1940s, 1950s movie, like guys skipping through like some tulips and stuff. And we would have to
Yeah.
go out into the real world with like a handheld recorder and put that over it. And like the stories that you can tell through that, like that avant-garde stuff. I learned so much because like what you can tell through like sound, the story that you
Yeah.
can tell through sound. And in that class, when we got towards the end, we learned horror movies. They use a particular low frequency that the human ear can't hear, but you
Oh
feel it.
yeah, but it literally makes you feel fear.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like that. It induces anxiety. And we like,
That's
yeah, it's a weird thing, but like music can do not even music, sound. Sound alone can do a lot of things.
yeah. It's trippy stuff. That's why I love talking about this stuff. I really do. I'm really grateful that we got to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, no, and we're almost out of time too. So what do you got to plug? Do you have so it's your Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, whatever you got to say. Shout it out right now.
Yeah, just pre-save my journal entries, but I just again I want to make it very, very clear. I am super, super grateful for you guys. Again, like I get to cosplay as a musician, you know, like just kidding. I'm living out my dreams, and it's literally like you guys are helping me. You guys are a part of this process. I don't know if like you guys actually fully understand the weight of how much this means to me, and even just the fact that I'm on a podcast right now talking about my music. Like you guys are a part of my dreams coming true. I hope that doesn't sound too cheesy. I mean that in like the most like flat out, like I'm being serious. Like I just want to like express again, like I'm super, super grateful, and I won't let you guys down.
Well, speaking as one of those fans, I don't think you will, because so far so good, right? And
Thank you.
no pressure, because listen, as long as you're remaining true to yourself with your music, you're gonna be good.
Thank you.
That's
I'm always
best
keeping
way to
myself
do
in
it.
check.
Yeah.
Promise.
So where can people hear your music?
They can hear me on Spotify now under Lizzerd Kween. I have a SoundCloud if you just want to listen to my journal entries and stuff. And then honestly, I have a lot of my originals on TikTok. I just like almost all my songs are on TikTok. Just snippets though.
Okay, and so I'll put everything in the bio underneath the episode and like on the YouTube. But yeah, thank you so much. This is a great conversation. The song was awesome. I had a great time. I like when someone can match my energy. It's very rare. Because I'm very and I'm drinking coffee, which does not help.
Yeah, I tried drinking chamomile tea to help. I have like this bad habit of accidentally interrupting people, and then like when I do, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm terrible. Like, but I'm trying not to let myself think that too.
I'm a podcast host, and I interrupt constantly.
Okay, that's fine.
So you're in good company.
I see that. I'm really glad that I came on here. Thank you so much.
Like I said, I'm glad you came on. And if you guys want to hear more of me, if you guys want to see more of me, you can listen to my podcast wherever you guys get podcasts. It's Spotify, Apple. Those are the two big ones. YouTube. And you can follow my Instagram and Twitch at Austin Can't Afford, or my Twitter, which is not really used too much. I use kind of just to bitch and moan about football. But you can go and follow Austin J. Piazza. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Lizzerd Kween, for coming on. That was awesome. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward for the music. Bye, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you soon.